Hey guys, it's me, Persephone. Um, yes, my voice is bad right now. My allergies like to torment me. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today, I wanted to do a video on the myth of Persephone because I don't play my videos, and um, I felt like I wanted to talk about it. I just wanted to talk about how I feel about all the new interpretations that we have of it today. Yeah, I don't have a script. This is gonna be me rambling. I swear I'm planning one of my videos. Okay, I'm working on it. I swear. It's just the source that's it. The source I'm using is taking a long time for that video, and I don't like going through it. I swear I'm working on that. I swear it'll be worth it. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna film this video. So I'm a Greek mythology nerd, Hellenic polytheist, baby eclectic witch. I bet a bunch of people just clicked off when I said that, but whatever. Also, my name's Persephone. My parents literally named me after her, so I think I can bring some stuff to the table. Okay, so I got some of my mythology books. I don't have all of them with me right now, just because I'm not gonna go through all of them because that would take a long time. And I'm definitely not going to go through all the modern interpretations I've seen because, again, that's going to take forever. So I think we're just going to start with talking about myth, the historical context that it had, and then after that we'll move on to the modern interpretations that we see. Um, so I think let's just get started. Obviously, some warnings for the contents of this myth, and just Greek mythology in general. Mythology has some messed up things in it. I think we all know that. So let's just get into it. So yeah, let's just start it. So I'm pretty sure we all know the main myth of Hades and Persephone, where she is kidnapped by him, and then her mother Demeter kind of I don't want to over explain this myth because I want to talk about other things, but her mother Demeter goes on a full search for her. Um, Basically, she hides out in a temple, goes into human disguise. Also, like I said, I'm not going to go into everything. If you want to go in the deep dive of this myth, great, but I know if I do, it'll take me too long to explain it. But eventually, Hecate and Helios saw what happened. They told her. She goes to find Persephone. I should be saying Kore, because whatever. If I switch between Persephone and Kore in this video, it's because they're both her names. Anyways, she goes to Underworld, finds Kore, but Hades tricks her into eating 6 pomegranate seeds or half of the pomegranate, depending on what you see. I've seen both, and then so she stays in the Underworld for half the year. I've also seen 1/3. So again, with the thing with mythology is that there's so many interpretations of it, and then so she stays in the Underworld for part of the year, and the other part she's with her mother Demeter. And so that's the basics of the myth. Again, I can't really go into full details of it because that would take so much time. I recommend checking out Overly Sarcastic Productions video on Hades and Persephone. That has some really interesting things, along with the different versions of her, including Thesponia, which again I can't really go into this video because we're talking about other things. So, a main thing that I really want to bring up with this myth is that it is first really shown in the Homeric hymn to Demeter, not to Hades, not to Persephone, to Demeter, which is important because this is the story of a mother's grief. This is not a romance, like, not a dark romance like people like to turn it into now. It's because of the historical context that it is in. So, this myth nowadays you mainly see it as the seasons, which is definitely a part of it, but I definitely want to talk about how the mother's grief part of it is really important to the historical context because historically basically in the ancient Greek times, this myth was basically the representation of daughters getting married off, which, like I said, it's ancient Greek times, so that's going to happen a lot, especially it's definitely happened with like in like the royal families, like literally Helen of Sparta. There's that whole thing with her suitors and everything. So I think that's really important to bring up because we're definitely going to see how that changes as we go into the modern interpretations. So again, my allergies like to torment me. So let me just go through my some of my mythology books to see like if there's anything I missed because like I said I want to also if this video sucks sorry like I said I don't have a script. Okay, so I would also like to bring up how Hecate is also I would say also she's part of the myth, okay? Because Hecate and Helios were the main ones who told her like where Kore went, and then like Hecate led her through the underworld. And we'll come back to Hecate because there's another part that I also wanted to talk about later. But also with this myth, also there's all like a bunch of artwork created, mainly the sculpture depicting the. I'm sorry I have to censor that because YouTube doesn't like people talking about real stuff that happens. But also in the I'm gonna say in the historical context a lot. In the historical context was basically just referring to the kidnapping. So like in say this book, like or like kind of any mythology book, it will most likely say instead of kidnapping because like I said historically that's what that term was used for. Again, like that stuff still happened because we still have many myths with a lot of gods doing that to mortals and just it happening. But just like I said, if you see that in kind of like any sort of context in the myth, just like letting you know it does it does refer to the kidnapping. I don't know for sure if there's any evidence like of like as we know it today in that myth, but I just wanted to make that clear. So there's also that. Let me just check through my other book. Like I said, I'm not going to go through all of my mythology books. I'm so bad at flipping through pages. Okay. Yeah. So I also think it's kind of interesting how a lot of people don't talk about how like the name Persephone is different than the name Kore. So like Kore would mean like girl, maiden, just that stuff. And then Persephone means bringer of death and destruction. So it's definitely a really big difference. Um, like especially I think with timeline stuff, it's also hard to figure out. That's why I don't like going through timelines of mythology because it's so confusing. But I will say though, I keep forgetting what I'm gonna say. Okay, as I'm going through this again, there's also a lot of mentions of Hermes leading Persephone back to the earth. Kind of just want to mention that. And then, so like I said, that's like the main myth with Persephone. Obviously, there's many more. I'll probably bring them up at some point in the video, just because like I said, this is just like kind of the main myth that is talked about, and I feel like we should be talking about other ones, but like again, that's just my opinion. So okay, I also wanted to bring up this point. So we're coming back to Hecate in this point, and that is the main mother crone archetype. Um, it's part of the rule of three, and a lot of the times Persephone is included in this with Greek whatever. So in I'm trying to find the best way to word this because I don't know if I want to say mythology or Hellenic polytheism. You get what I'm saying. With Persephone, in the main mother crone archetype, it's usually Persephone, Demeter, and Hecate. Hecate's the crone, Demeter's mother, makes sense, and then Persephone would be the maiden. I have also seen another version of it. One second. So, I was supposed to have my Midsummer Night's Dream book for this section because there was a note in it Yes, it was for school, but whatever. And I can't find it. And now I'm worried because I actually liked Midsummer Night's Dream. But anyways, what I was gonna bring up is that there was a part in it, like in the notes section with like all the translation stuff, talking about kind of the maiden mother crone archetype. Definitely something with the rule of three, and it was Artemis, Persephone, and Hecate. I thought I'd just bring that up, but it was definitely mainly referring to like land, underworld, and I don't know, sky. I don't know. I can't exactly remember because I don't know where it went. But anyways, let's get back to the actual stuff we're talking about. Yeah, so I decided to turn the background lights on. I don't know why I did, but whatever. So like I've said this so many times already. I feel like I keep restating stuff, but again, another restating thing. I don't have a script for this video. Yeah, so like I said, there are many other myths associated with her that I don't think we talk about a lot. So a few are like with Adonis, like her and Aphrodite, which is why people can't say that you have that. You can't have an alternate with them. You can't have an altar with them next to each other. Like, yes, you can. Stop spreading misinformation. I literally had an altar with them together, and it was fine. I did have to take it down, but that's a different story. But anyways, so there's that story. One with Theseus and Prometheus. I have personal beef with them. Um, there's like so many others. The ones with the Zeus, but those aren't fun to talk about. And again, YouTube doesn't like anyone talking, even though it happens, because that is a part of Greek mythology, and unfortunately, it happens. Um, Also, like she has kids. I feel like people don't talk about that, like Zagreus, Melnoe, and Marcaria. Like they exist. Okay, I feel like people only know of them because of the Hades games. Okay. Also, Minty. Um, I don't think we need to go into that one too much, but it's kind of. I feel like I have to flip this around because the light keeps shining on me. But if you know, you know. Then mint plant. Um, so yeah. Also, I think it's also important to take in like all the context of the myths, especially when we're talking about Hellenic polytheism, because like that's like important for offerings and stuff. I will talk about my practice when I was worshiping her for just like a little bit, just so I can talk about like the myths and stuff. Because I have her stuff right here because I had to take her altar down and I still haven't put stuff in its like places. So like this is a candle I had for her, but the thing is, I was going to use it, but I lighted it one time. I lit it one time, and the smoke detector went off because the flame was so high. So I don't know what was going on with this, but yeah. So like candles are used for like any deity. But one thing that was important to me was kind of having like both elements of her. So like I had flowers on her altar. I probably need to return these to nature because like they're just drying out. But also it was definitely like important to me to have these skulls kind of with her, kind of just so I could have like that balance, which I feel like is important because I feel like a lot of people nowadays kind of just take kind of one element of her and then kind of have that be the whole thing. I've mainly seen it with her being the goddess of spring and flowers. I've mainly seen people make that like her only element, which is absolutely not true. But yeah, I just want to bring that up for a little bit, just so I could talk about a little bit about the myths. Um, I'm probably forgetting stuff. If I figure out more stuff while I'm editing, I'll just edit stuff in. Also, like if I have any mistakes in here, any inaccuracies, please comment down below. I'll make I'll make like a pinned comment with everything. So, because like I don't want to. I'm not spreading misinformation on purpose. Okay, if there's any mistakes I made, like please let me know. But now let's start talking about the new media that has come about. Because I don't really know. I actually don't really know where all the love for their myth came from. It might have been from Lore Olympus, and I really hate Lore Olympus. I don't want to talk about it in this video, but I might end up doing that just because it has some aspects. But I think that was where the main obsession with this myth came from. And then so now I feel like a lot of the times in kind of just mythology media, I just say mythology inspired media. I don't know why I do, but I do. So there's definitely, like mythology guy said in one of his videos, like also go check out his channel. Like he has really good mythology videos. Like he said how like a lot of people feel like they need to get it right. And I have a lot of opinions on what is the good interpretation of that myth. I'm very picky with like retellings and stuff. I'll probably go into that later of like what I think with that, but I think we'll just mainly talk about for this section we'll just mainly talk about the main inaccuracies and interpretations we see. So obviously we have the oh she chose to go with him, which yes, it's you can interpret it that way if you want, like you can do what you want, but like I said, why I keep bringing up the historical context is because in the historical context of this myth, like I said, this is not a love story. It's a story about a mother's grief, like I said. So that's I think the main reason I have that problem with it, because like you know historical context. I know I keep saying that, but it's definitely something important in like honestly anything. And also like the main thing is it was also Zeus's idea in the myth because it's Zeus in mythology and in the stories he's definitely made some choices. Sorry, but yeah. So I think we've definitely see that a lot. I think in most um like I guess retcons. I don't want to say retcons because that's a different thing. The most changes we see that I've seen like are definitely relating to that part of it. I think I've seen that in most retellings. Um, but also, I do feel like if you are going to go this route, then you do need to handle Demeter very well because with this change, a lot of the villainization gets put on Demeter, which we should not be doing. Stop villainizing Demeter. In mythology, the gods all have some bad decisions, but that's the mythology. And if you're going to villainize a character in this myth, don't have it be Demeter. That also kind of brings me to the point of the trope I see with Hades and Persephone, because there's always that dark romance thing. But that's I wanted to talk about how like Hades is always portrayed as a villain, and then because there's always that with him being the ruler of the underworld and everything, everyone associates him with Satan because like Christianity is like the kind of main thing. So people think, oh, ruler of the dead must be evil, which no, not really. Um, like yes, he's done some bad things, kidnap her and then cheated on her, but he only cheated on her once with Minty, compared to like Zeus cheating on Hera. Well, so like I don't think that's enough to make him the big bad villain. Yes, there are some cases where it kind of just depends on how you're going to do it. Like there's some cases where like okay, yes, he's clearly done bad stuff, but I think if there's someone else you can make the villain, then maybe try that. See how it works. I don't know what I'm talking about right now, but whatever. I don't think this is going to make any sense, but if you get what I'm saying, then you do. Okay? Yeah, so villainization is definitely a thing that I've seen a lot. And also with like I don't know if you're on this side of Pinterest, but I'm on the Greek mythology side of Pinterest. And what I've seen a lot is okay, we've stopped villainizing Hades, but now it's insert name of God um turn. So I do agree with those because like I said earlier, like in the stories, the gods have done some bad things, but like they've all had some choices that they've made. I don't know how else to word these, okay? In the mythology. So, like I said, but definitely in the past, then Hades has been the target. I don't know if you've seen that one like Disney animated thing in like from like the 1930s or something. I forgot what it's called. It was interesting. I didn't see the full thing, but it was a Hades and Persephone thing. I think they made him look like the devil or something. Like I said, Christianity is when Christianity runs stuff, then it kind of you get what I'm saying here, okay? Yeah, I can't talk in this video. What am I doing here? I need to start making scripts more. Like I said, I have script for my other video. Okay, I swear, I literally have it. Okay. Anyways, back to what I was mainly talking about, the trope. Then I feel like Persephone is always portrayed as that innocent little spring goddess, which also like not true. Like I said, her name literally means bringer of death and destruction. Which I mean, I've also seen IRL as well as like online. I'll talk about some of my experiences at the end of the video, but I would love to talk about that. But yeah, I'll talk about stuff I've seen in person relating to my name at the end of the video because I've seen some stuff. Anyways, so I do think I have to talk about Lore Olympus, so we're going to talk about Lore Olympus. So, with Lore Olympus, and now I haven't read it, and there's many reasons I won't, um, including, but not limited to, the villainization of Demeter. Because that's, from what I've heard, the person who did that in it, it's not mythologically accurate. And also, inaccurate does not mean bad, but I just have, like I said, I'm really picky with stuff. But also, I can't talk. I would also like to say, if you like Lord Olympus, that's great. Okay, I'm glad you found something you like. It's just not my thing. So what I would like to talk about with this is how I definitely think this is what affected the myth the most. Because like, if you go onto Webtoon right now, you will see it has like 1 billion views. Okay, so clearly people are coming back to that. People liked it when it was in its prime. I don't know if it's as popular now. I don't think it is, but I do definitely think that kind of skewed what was going on with that, and it probably did lead to some misinformation. Just because, like I said, inaccurate does not mean bad, but it is definitely kind of changing how the myth was viewed. What am I doing with this video? What am I doing with my life? But like, it definitely did affect the myth, especially with the age gap. Like, I personally don't like that, and definitely how like it sexualizes characters. And again, that's stuff I don't like, just because it's my personal thing. Like, if I can choose some content to consume, it would not be that one. But like I said, my opinion. And then I'm going to talk about the Percy Jackson movie at the end of the video, because I have a story for you guys. I have a story. What other should I talk about? We can talk about the Percy Jackson books, but I feel like there's not a lot to go off of. Like, I know she's present in the books, but I also don't like how Percy Jackson portrayed the gods and that. Obviously, if you have anything you want to talk about with the Percy Jackson books and his and Persephone, like, put it in the comments, because like, I just personally won't be going into that. Like I said, I'll talk about the movie later. Okay, I feel like we should talk about Chaos. If you haven't seen Chaos, go watch it. It's on Netflix. But spoilers for what happens in Chaos, because I would like to talk about Chaos. So spoilers for like a bunch of it. I don't know exactly what I'll be going into, but just like, if you don't want spoilers, then skip this part. Okay. So the thing with Chaos is, I feel like it knows what it's doing, and it adds that to like every character, and that's why I think I'm mainly okay with that, especially since like we didn't see Demeter in that, so it's hard to know if she showed up, if she would have been villainized, which they did in Blood and Zeus, and we're going to talk about Blood of Zeus. But like I said, I think with Chaos, they're not in it as much, so it's definitely hard to tell. I remember my mom said she looked like a librarian, because my mom's librarian, but that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about designs. If we want to talk about designs, maybe in another video. But yeah. So, like I said, with Chaos, we didn't get to see a lot of like the backstory of their myth, but I do know that that was also one of them where she did choose to go. And like I said, I'm kind of wary on that, but like Chaos is just so good. And if you haven't seen it, then go watch it. Like I said, um, so I do wonder though if they didn't cancel it, Netflix should have let it keep should have kept it going. But I do wonder how that would have played out in like the future if we did see what happened. Also, just because Zeus at the end of that series just like made me so mad I couldn't think about anything else. So maybe if I rewatch it, I'll talk about it more. But okay, let's talk about Blood of Zeus now. Now, I have a lot of opinions with Blood of Zeus. I have a really weird relationship with that show, um, because there's a lot of parts that I'm just kind of like confused about because it like inaccuracies, okay, but it also sometimes gets confusing with the changes. But also, I have a weird obsession with Gorgo X Seraphim, and I don't know why. Also, spoilers for Blood of Zeus, um, all seasons because we're going to talk about what happens to her. Anyways, so also I feel like Blood of Zeus didn't handle Demeter well. Because again, the villainization, which I hate when they do that. I hate when they do that. But yeah, so I feel like they didn't handle that well. I did like that we got to see Zagreus and Melanoe, but also where's Marcaria? Marcaria should be there. Also, I swear, if I see anyone commenting about fucking Mesperian, that's not a real mythological that's not a mythological god. Mesperian is not real. I don't know how anyone thought Mesperian was real. Okay, back to Blood of Zeus. So I do like that we got to see them. I do like that we got to see like Persephone being a mother to her kids because I've always thought about that because we don't really get to see Zagreus, Melnoa, and Marcaria a lot. So yeah, I do think that is nice. If you have any recommendations of like stuff with them, please let me know because I just want to find stuff with them. But like I said, also the thing with Ares is also like I hated that just because like it's just made me feel weird, and then also like it didn't happen, and I don't like to see Ares villainized because he's actually like a really great god. I'm not playing favorites here. I'm talking about the mythological things, okay? I'm talking about the mythology, not the gods, okay? I'm talking about the mythology, not the gods. That was my altar over there, okay? I'm paranoid, okay? I got anxiety, okay? Did I take my meds today? I don't know. But anyways, so yeah, Blood of Zeus is, especially when she like died. and then Hermes had to come get her back. I didn't like the thing with the gods dying because I don't know. It just made me confused because gods aren't supposed to die, you know. But I actually never finished the series, so I need to go do that. But like I said, I have a weird obsession with Gorgo X Seraphim, even though I haven't gone back to see what happened. Even though I know she comes back or something, I don't even know what's happening. But I do need to go finish that. Oh, sorry if that was loud. Um, I think we can start talking about my experiences. So if I had to do a Hades and Persephone retelling, I think here's how I would do it. I would definitely have like the whole Kore aspect because I feel like that's important to include. Um, and then also I would the myth I like to not myth the like romance I like to see between them is like she's like an enemies to lovers but like kind of different because like I don't want to like just get rid of that whole kidnapping thing because like that's important. I'm gonna keep that in if I had to do this. This is all in the if I had to kind of world because like I'm not gonna be making any. I'm not gonna be writing any books. I'm not gonna be making any TV shows. I just act in them. Anyways, so I would definitely keep in the kidnapping aspect because I feel like it's part of the main myth. Okay, it's what people see. It's what people think of. Like I forgot to talk about this statue. Whatever. I'll put an editor's note. Okay. Um, so I would definitely keep that in. I would also want to focus a little bit more on Demeter and the whole trying to turn a baby immortal thing. if you want to know what's going on with that, just look up, do some research, because I it'll take too long. I'm definitely gonna make sure like that Demeter's treated well because she deserves better. Because based off what I've seen, so and then definitely that, like I said, I definitely want to have that kind of started with hating him and then eventually like grew to love him because I feel like that's the best way to do it. And then I still want to do like the trickery with the pomegranate and all that because, like I said, but also this is just my opinion. If you want to let me know what you would do, let me know. You know, I don't want to see anyone hating on opinions. Let people do what they want. Like I said, if you like any of these like shows or stuff I talked about and I personally don't like it, okay, you like it, okay? I don't know why I keep getting mad, but I've just seen people get mad at people for having opinions and it sucks. Okay, time for some real experiences. So, my name's Persephone. I'm named after a goddess. And I had a lot of issues with that because no one knows how to pronounce my name and I hate that. The amount of times I like enter a new class and then my teacher's just like, Persephone, or if I'm at the doctor and they're like Persephone, it's not how you say it. It's not how you say it. It's Persephone. Okay. And then of course with people not knowing how to pronounce it, then there's people like being real rude about it and making fun of it. I'm looking at you, Dorian and Trenton. I don't care. I'm going to name drop them because they're assholes and they were rude to me. And also Dorian, I know you were talking behind my back about my name. And also I never texted you. I don't know why you were spreading rumors that I was texting you. I wasn't. Like I said, you're an asshole. I don't know why you're still I don't know how you still have a girlfriend. If you broke up, I'm glad because she deserves better than you, even though she's picked me. Okay, this is just getting too much. If anyone from my school sees this video, I'm not. If anyone from my school sees this video, I really hope you clicked off. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So like they would be rude about my name. I know there's this one guy in my sixth grade social studies class. We were doing a Greek god project, and I'm like, me and my group got Athena. I'm like, yes, I love Athena. But this annoying group of guys who we were like already fighting with them, so this just amplified it. They got Hades. They found out my real name, because I go by Percy, because like I said, no one knows how to pronounce Persephone. Also, Percy is more gender neutral, and like I'm non-binary, so But they found out my real name, started being assholes about it. Started being like, "Oh, Persephone," like again, kind of reducing her into that just goddess whispering, even though she's literally a queen. She's literally a queen. She's the queen of the underworld, and people don't take that into consideration. Okay, final thing. When I was in fifth grade, we did a book study on the first Percy Jackson um, book, and of course, at the end of a book study, they're gonna play the movie, and we all know about the Lightning Thief movie. If you're in the Percy Jackson fandom, we know the Lightning Thief movie sucks. It's not good. And so of course she shows up in that movie, and even though it takes place in June, that breaks the most basic rule. Oh my god, it's like the most basic thing. Anyways, yeah, so that shows up in that because like I've I've had people calling me Percy Jackson since I was in like second or third grade. Again, sucks. And then I had to deal with that even more when we were doing the book study. And then now in the movie, she shows up and is like annoying, and it's not accurate, and it's just pissing me off. Okay, so I think that's all. I'm mad at everyone, but I don't have an outro. Get this myth right. Bye.